One of the problems with producing content for videos and similar things that people do, that they put out there on the internet, various places, is that you have to do all kinds of work to make your product, if you will, palatable to others. So, for example, coming up with the subject for this particular video that I'm doing on the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. By the way, I'm your host, and today is Friday the 5th of November of 2021. Welcome to everybody who's here on Rumble, on the podcast, on YouTube. Coming up with the idea, crouching worker hidden prices, was kind of clever on my part, I thought, even though I'm obviously borrowing the idea from somebody else. I am going to talk on that subject, though, today, and I want to go ahead and go through my notes to give you some idea basically what I'm talking about. My brother used to work in an electronics repair shop here in the local area. Being a generally ethical sort of person, my brother at least strongly disliked the fact that the owner of that business regularly marked up the cost of parts being installed or replaced in various pieces of equipment. Why did the owner do that? Because people were unwilling to accept that a $5 part took 2 or 3 hours to put in. They also weren't pleased to hear it took 2 or 3 more hours to diagnose the problem and suggest a fix. Considering the cost of keeping that shop running, it was necessary to bill more for an hour of labor than you would have thought reasonable. If the business failed to do that, though, they did another thing. They went under. By the same token, when a local health insurance or similar company made a radio advertisement in which they said an antibiotic or similar cost $1 or $1.50, but the entity providing it charged $300 for it, it showed me the company doing the ad doesn't understand how things work. Whether you like it or not, that hospital or health care facility must make enough money to survive. The reality is oftentimes the supplies are cheap, but the labor is not. Such is the case for much of healthcare. Before you went, to get that antibiotic, chances are you saw at least a nurse practitioner and maybe a doctor. Did they bill you for that? Yeah, probably. Did they bill you for the upkeep, floor sweeping, toilet cleaning, disinfecting, and similar the facility must perform on a regular basis? How about the electricity and water used during your visit? Did you get billed for the people painting lines in the parking lot? No? You realize all of that has to be paid for out of what the company takes in as revenue. What about the new equipment they bought or are going to buy to help them more quickly and accurately diagnose or treat your condition? Did they bill you for that? The answer actually is yes. But it's not some line item on your bill, but something they factor into, everybody's billing. And healthcare facilities are not alone in this. Keep in mind, the majority of costs most places can be traced to people, hence the crouching worker hidden prices title of today's piece. I periodically tell people in restaurants to make sure they're charging me for everything I'm getting. I make it plain I want them to be there the next time I come around. Keep that in mind when you visit some business and complain about the cost of what you're getting there. Whether you like it or not, businesses could not possibly, line item bill you for everything that they deal with. Whether they're making their business bigger or better, making a second location, buying equipment that they need to service their customers better, paying employees for the work that they're doing, the overtime that they had to do in order to make it so that what you asked for or wanted is there. Whatever it is that they're paying for, a lot of that stuff, they don't even necessarily know what it's going to cost them. Painting lines in the parking lot, so you know the best way to park in that parking lot. Whatever it might be, repaving the parking lot, putting new floors in their office, whatever it might be, they have to pay for those things. And there are people who are being paid to do that work, and then there's the stuff they have to buy to do it with that you may not even know about. So when you hear that a hospital charged $300 for an antibiotic that cost them $1.50 or whatever. Yeah, but what did the guy in the phlebotomy lab or wherever it is that they do whatever they're doing, whether it's pulling blood or whatever, what did that person get paid? How does that factor into what things cost you? And this is why crouching worker, hidden prices was my subject for today. Because a lot of what these people are paying, you're going to find is actually stuff that is, related to worker costs and not really to supplies and equipment. A lot of times they can get supplies and equipment relatively cheaply, but when it comes down to them being able to pay those workers who are doing that invaluable work, that cleaning the floor, that emptying the garbage cans, providing coffee, painting lines in the parking lot, cleaning the toilets, whatever it might happen to be, they are not going to be able to bill directly for those things. So what they have to do is they have to work those costs into their billing to make it so that when it's all said and done, they're at least breaking even. And really, it's pretty much unreasonable to expect them to do anything but pull a profit in what they're doing. That's just unreasonable. So the thing that you have to keep in mind is this. When you hear an advertisement where somebody tells you something like, oh, they're charging you $300 for that $1.50 antibiotic, you need to keep in mind the person who's administering the antibiotic, the person who's at the pharmacy in that particular hospital, whatever people happen to be there, those people are being paid for what's going on. Knowing that antibiotic needs to be administered, the doctor's actually looking at you and checking you out and making sure they know what's going on. Them looking at your medical history to determine whether or not that antibiotic is a reasonable thing for you. And so many other things are factored into these costs that you're seeing. And this is what you need to understand. It's not something where it's just that item on the bill that they charge $300 for. It's labor they cannot charge you for directly that may be related to your visit on that given day. And like I say, that might even be line painters in the parking lot, or people putting in floors, or people bringing in new furniture, or whatever it happens to be so that they can service you better. Them buying new equipment, whatever. Them paying their investors because they might have people who are investing in their business, and those people are investing because they expect a return. And that's not an unreasonable thing if you think about it. It's hard on the business, I'll grant you that, but it's not an unreasonable thing for people to invest their money with the idea that they're going to get a return as a result. So there are any number of things that might up the costs that you're seeing, and you might think that the way that's happening is unreasonable. But like I say, my brother in that electronics shop seeing a part that cost $5 being upcharged to $200 because they couldn't say we charged you $600 in labor, right, which is what really the cost was associated with. The person doing that change to the cost of the product did that because of other expenses that they have to pay. It's not just the supply that they have to pay for. They have to pay for a whole bunch of other things. And this is what I want for you to understand today. When you go into a business, keep in mind that what you see going on is almost always what they refer to as the proverbial tip of the iceberg. What really goes on in that facility, you have no idea what's going on behind the scenes unless you've worked there and dealt with the various things that are going on. That's just the reality. So if you think that it's unreasonable for people to charge you huge amounts for things that actually come to them fairly cheaply, I want you to remember my little title today, Crouching Worker, Hidden Prices, and hopefully that will help you to remember that these people are paying for things you are not even considering. This is important. This is something that people all need to learn. Now, for the business talking about trying to reduce your medical expenses through their insurance or whatever program they're doing, I'm not against that either. I just want for you to understand that what they're talking about may not really be accurate. What they're saying, it's accurate in one sense, but it may not be accurate in another that's really kind of more important when you think about it. Okay, I need to go ahead and wrap up. This is the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I'm your host. I'm Kurt, and today is November the 5th of 2021, and it is Friday, that beginning of the weekend, and for a lot of people, and the beginning of the Sabbath for those who observe it. Happy Sabbath to you. Hope you have a good Sabbath. Tomorrow then will be Saturday, the 6th of November of 2021, and the remainder of the Sabbath until sundown on that Saturday. Thank you, welcome, and thank you for those who are here on Rumble, on the podcast, and on YouTube. Thank you for coming along today. Remember, Rumble is my preferred platform. You can give me a boxing glove or a plus sign on Rumble if you want to give me a positive feedback. You can, of course, give me a minus sign if you want to give me a negative one. I hope you don't, but maybe you have some reason that you do. You can give me a thumbs up or a like on YouTube, or a thumbs down or a dislike. That's a positive feedback on the thumbs up and a negative on the thumbs down if you choose to do that on YouTube. Remember also that if there's a place for you to comment, whatever platform you're looking at me on, if I know that you're commenting, I will do everything that I can to read, understand, and potentially respond to whatever comments you leave me. The subject for today has been crouching worker hidden prices, and tomorrow we're going to talk about just the facts. This is related to the news industry, which I don't think a lot of people understand some things about, and I'm going to put some stuff out there that actually that same brother brought to me in a discussion that I thought it was important for other people to realize. Hope you're having a good day today. Hope everything's going well for you, and hopefully we will see you again on Saturday's edition of the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. The speaker on this edition of the Daily Summation is Kurt Schubert. This video is recorded on Friday the 5th of November of 2021. The Daily Summation is created for Kurt's Religion and Politics. Thanks for watching this edition of the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I hope you found it entertaining or instructional, or maybe both. If you want to see more from me, you can go to blogs.kpschubert.com. That's blogs.kpschubert.com. I am on Twitter, Parler, and Minds.com. My handle on each of those is @kpschubert. That's @kpschubert. I have a Rumble and a YouTube channel. They are the Kurt's Religion and Politics channels on Rumble and YouTube. I have a Facebook page. The Facebook page is Kurt's Religion and Politics as well. I am on Patreon. If you want to support me, that's one of the better places you can do that, and you will find me at Kurt's Religion and Politics on Patreon. I have a podcast. The podcast is podcasts with an S .kpschubert.com. That's podcasts.kpschubert.com. I think you should be able to find me with relative ease on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify as well. The best way I find to do that is to look for Kurt's Religion and Politics. You can try to use the Daily Summation. I find that it doesn't work as well as a general rule, but you can always try that. I'm glad to have you aboard today, and hopefully we will see you again tomorrow.